What's up everybody, a Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off today with a Star Trek build, which, in case you haven't noticed, has been kind of a thing of mine lately. Also, apparently it seems to be part of the community, though, because they're posting more of them. But this is the USS Hussaria? Hussaria? I hope I'm saying that right. Now, the description on it is relatively light in terms of, you know, functionality, deck layout, etc., and so on. So we're going to kind of explore it a little bit more firsthand, but obviously it is a Star Trek build kind of thing. I don't know, I believe in the description it lists the class that it is in terms of relative to the other builds and stuff like that or the other ship classes in Star Trek and things, but I'm not sure if it's a made-up one or if it's accurate or not. But this kind of, I'm not sure, this is kind of like a, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of like the Stargazer style type of thing, mixed with the dish from like the Discovery era. So it's a pretty cool conglomeration, actually. There are some mods on this one, so I don't know how much of it is completely, in terms of like the hull shape, I don't know how much of it can completely be done in vanilla or anything like that. I believe most of the mods were kind of cosmetic based in terms of like these windows look, or torpedoes, they're not windows. Looking down the barrel of a cannon. The window doesn't look like it gets a lot of light down there. Anyway. But yeah, so there were some weapon mods. There was a couple of internal like console type mods and things like that, but I didn't see any block mods per se, so I'm kind of thinking that most of this hull was done in vanilla, which is actually really impressive if so, because it's got a very nice line to it, especially some of these where you have the curve and then it kind of cuts in to make the groove area and stuff. It's just got a lot of really nice transition points, so kudos to the builder either way, but especially if it was done with vanilla blocks, because we've seen a lot of different builds, but they don't always end up, some are better than others basically, and so yeah, I'd say that if this is actually a vanilla one, then that's pretty impressive. Now, one block I know to be, is there a close button? There should be a close button somewhere. Oh, here it is. Close. That's the interior. I just vented everyone out. We're all dead. Oops! This is why I just run around and look at ships on the intranet, and I don't actually run one. Just sucked everyone out the airlock. My bad. Let's see. Shuttle Bay 1 open, close. Interior. I feel like, an exterior would have gone a long way there, but that's just me trying to shift blame. I do actually like the use of this stuff. This I know is kind of vanilla, but the technique is pretty cool of using these angles to make like archways. It's a pretty neat. I do also like the little Starfleet emblems and stuff. Now that obviously is a mod, but I think it's a nice touch. There is a block mod inside here in the interior that I know of. I saw it in the screenshots. Or I think I saw it in the screenshots. Either that or it was for the mod itself. Now this is actually a cool little trick here I wanted to point out. Is they've got the graded stairway, which obviously I'm a big fan of, because I think a lot of the newer blocks look a lot better than some of the original ones. But then they've got a slope next to it rather than it just being an exposed, like, engineering type catwalk. It looks more sealed, which I like. This, I think... Yeah, this is part of the Colt. I think it's Colt console pack. A lot of you are probably familiar with that already. We have the shuttle bay doors, but there is a hallway block in here somewhere that is supposed to be attempting to model the hallway areas of Discovery. And that you saw, if you've seen that show, you've seen kind of the interiors of the ship and whatnot. And that looked pretty cool. That was a pretty nice little addition that I was like, okay, you know, if you got to add a block or something, that's a cool one, that it makes it more thematically appropriate. Let's go with that. This is an interesting little window area. You've got like an overhang over it, so it's kind of a window, but kind of concealed. I believe this said crew quarters, so obviously that's your bunks kind of thing. I'm guessing this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be your toilet, your bathroom. Alright, so what goes the other way? Is that more crew quarters or not? Yeah, that's more crew quarters, so we won't go down that way. There are big stretches of hallway here, and I'm assuming that it's because the interior is trying to match the exterior kind of thing, would be my assumption. And so, because of the size of the ship, you've got a lot of, like, stretches of hallway and stuff. And to be fair to the builder, that actually happens quite a bit in the series of Star Trek and stuff. There's a lot of things where... Is this going to be the bridge? I don't want to do the bridge yet. The airway's still... Yeah, that's the bridge. So let's leave the top for last here. Let's go down this way. I still haven't actually seen that Discovery block now that I think about it. But yeah, there's often long stretches of hallways in the ships and stuff when you're watching the show. So that could definitely be intentional as well. Alright, we got main engineering, which I think looks really cool. Although, I was gonna say this isn't exactly how Discovery looked, but then again, this isn't a one-to-one. This actually gives me a lot of Endor vibes. Anybody getting Endor vibes? Like the shield bunker. This is the area where Solo throws the demo charges and it knocks the guy over the rail. That back area is what's doing it. That's what's, just when you walk in here, it just makes me think of that Endor shield area. Warp drive lighting. Oh, okay, that's what that is. That's pretty cool. Alright. Okay, so that's the engineering area. Now, I am a little surprised... Ooh, I'm getting turned around. Okay, that was the way we came from, I think. So I am a little surprised with the engineering area that you don't see some of the warp drive areas and stuff like that, but that's a minor thing. We've got obviously a different modded block here, and it looks like a control table for the shield mod, because I believe this does have the shield mod on it. What are these? Engineering consoles. I'm guessing they're just other consoles type thing, or I mean other control seats type situation. So this is the battle bridge, which is interesting, because it makes me wonder if this one has the disk separation thing, or saucer separation, or whatever. Because I guess there was other ones that had battle bridges that didn't do that. But I was thinking that that was predominantly seen in the D Enterprise when it would detach, that it had two bridges. So I'm curious about that. Personally, I've always kind of wondered why all of them didn't have that, but I'm sure it's kind of a cost thing, that it's more expensive to build a ship that way. Now, I said that the hallways and stuff I was thinking would be using the Discovery mod. That Discovery mod may have just been to add that chair in. I was thinking that when I pulled up the mod page to add it in, it showed kind of the hallway look of the Discovery. Okay, so this is an external airlock, which I totally knew about. I mean, it's not like I didn't see it or anything. Anyway, back to the mod. But yeah, so I'm thinking that might have... I already went in here. I'm getting turned around. Sorry. I'm thinking that might have been that it was really just for the control seat, that they just wanted the captain's chair from Discovery. Now, this is kind of Discovery-esque-ish, because it said captain's quarters. Well, I guess this is kind of modeled off... It could have been modeled off of the D2, because I think Picard had the little couch over there, but it's kind of difficult with some of the Star Trek stuff and things like that, because a lot of the ships had the samesies. They had the same kinds of designs and things like that, and in certain aspects of them, because they were all supposed to be Federation ships or whatnot. This is a cool conference room, though. I like the projector table and the logo on the side there. That's a pretty nice touch. And sometimes some of these ships aren't really based on any particular build. It's just pieces of different ones that the builder liked, which is cool. This is a cool... is this part of Colts? I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. But whatever it's from, it looks relatively newer because it's using like the multi-screen layout thing like the newer control blocks, or I mean control seats are, but they're kind of cool. I kind of like them. They're a little bit on that like retro type style, where some of the other ones go for more like advanced looking. These kind of have more of like an old school style, which does fit in well if you're going for like the older builds and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm guessing this was just for the cool captain's chair. So we've got Mark III torpedo launchers, frontal and rear photons, phasers, shield control table, warp drive. Obviously those are not jump drives in a Star Trek build. Alright, so fairly simple to control. I don't see any saucer disconnection or anything like that, so I'm guessing that was just a cool secondary bridge. Alright, so I don't think I can manually fire the phasers. They look like they're turrets or Gatling turret replacements, so those are kind of gonna be just what they are. As for the torpedoes, can I fire them? I cannot, actually. That's interesting. Maybe I have to turn them on. I thought the on and off would be the firing mechanism, but oh, okay. Apparently not. So that's pretty cool. Was it one aft? Yeah. So you got like 6 in the front and 1 aft torpedo. That's pretty handy. Okay, so let's take her for a spin. In terms of movement, it turns pretty good. This is a relatively larger ship, so it accelerates and turns on a pretty good movement ratio type of thing. Sometimes with bigger ships, you're expecting them to move really sluggishly. Obviously, I'm not expecting fighter maneuverability out of this, but yeah, it actually moves really well. So I could totally see using this, especially with the array of different phaser locations and things. You wouldn't necessarily have to turn around really quick to line up on anybody other than your torpedoes, but yeah, I like it. It's a really solid build, and I actually really like the hull design. I think it's one of the better hull designs that we've seen in a while, because there's a lot of Star Trek and Star Wars builds on the workshop, but there's kind of like a lot of them, and then there's the better good ones kind of thing. I would definitely include this among them because the hull looks so nice. But with that, I think that's going to do it for this one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we actually have a viewer submission, which is the USCMS Ron Don Johnson Experimental Propulsion. I totally memorized all of that, and it was not off the cuff at all. I hope I have it pasted correctly. With some of these types of designs for the ships, they can be hard to tell which way's up and down, though given the location of the hangar and the landing gear, I think I got it right. So yeah, this was sent to me via the comments on one of my other videos, so I wanted to feature it because although I often tend to pick a lot of my ships purely on the aesthetics of them, every now and again I do like to feature inspiring different kinds of techniques for mechanical stuff as well. Whether it adds some kind of functionality that's not normal or does something a different way. And this one does that. It uses what the builder is calling a MAD drive, or a merge assisted drive? I don't remember if I got the acronym right. It is in the description on the workshop file though, but it's at least one type, or if not the type of clang drive, which I'm not really sure how they work, to be honest. I've heard the term clang drives before. I've tried to look into them, didn't really find a whole lot on them, and so I'm not entirely sure how they work, although if it's merge block driven, I'm kind of leaning towards it's probably using hitbox detection to clip the ships out of the way of itself, which keeps it moving in various directions. Anyway, fun little just design commentary, I suppose. So we do have a hangar in here, which has, it looks like 2 small craft, which lines up with the description, I believe. I do kind of like the mood-lit hangar in here. The blue light on the black armor is kind of a cool... I mean, it's not exactly like I'm a fan of the combination of blue and black or anything like that, but... So, I'm totally not biased. Given the setup here, this looks like it's an elevator, I'm guessing. Elevator reverse, toggle. I really hate the fonts, or the font color in this game, I really do. Airtight bridge door. Oh, okay. I don't see any bridge doors, so we're probably okay to try this. Alright. I have to say, I really give credit to how snug this elevator is. I know using blast door blocks has become kind of commonplace to avoid subgrid damage and whatnot, but a lot of times when you use blast door blocks, you still get a little bit of like where their collision box isn't hitting so that it goes through fine. And this, I have to say, is really, really snug, so definitely kudos on that part, because it makes for a nice elevator that looks like it belongs there, I should say. That it's one of those where a lot of people do elevators, but some do them better than others. The only thing with this... Now, I will say this. The darker block paint, the black color, really does give it a moody setting, like an atmospheric setting, especially when you get these kind of lights and you get this reflective glow off of the walls and stuff. Although I will say it's probably harder for you guys to see in terms of video viewing. Viewing is a thing. I didn't really read the sign. I probably should do that from time to time, but it looks like this was the crew quarter. That's a funny picture. Alright, what do we got? Oh, a jukebox. Yeah, so this, I think, is either the rec area or crew quarters or something. Yep. Okay. I thought this I thought this was gonna loop around. It's a bathroom. Okay. Oh, that's a cool motivational poster there. In the bathroom to motivate you through your hard times in the bathroom. I have always loved that. I gotta be honest. It happens a lot in my family and stuff too, is where there's always some kind of like inspirational quote or scripture verse or something in the bathroom, and I'm always like, why the bathroom? Why do we need all the motivational stuff in the bathroom? Are we really having that hard of a time? Anyways, just a side little commentary. Yeah, so that was the crew quarters. This is the captain's quarters. The one thing, this is kind of, it almost looks more like a bridge than quarters, because you've got like the you have the couch, but then you have like the desk pointed right at. What can I do for you today? So there's that. We have a private cryo chamber for our captain. Oh, I guess he does have a bed and a desk and stuff, or I guess bedside table, bathroom. One thing I will note, just as kind of a... I hesitate to say constructive criticism, only because I'm not really that great of a builder myself. I can see what other people are doing in builds and stuff like that, but I don't always do that well when I try and build myself. Wow, that was... okay, just like clipped through the door or something. But I would say probably color palette would help a little bit here. Maybe not quite so much black everywhere, would probably be a little easier on the eyes. The only other thing is, sometimes I know it can happen where you get the texture set on your paintbrush type thing and it ends up doing it on everything. But personally, I would say there's a little too much of the carbon fiber, or whatever this is. I think it's carbon fiber. But maybe mix up the textures a little bit on like another version of the ship or something to that effect. Just a note, this is probably the infamous Clang drive here. I'm trying to get a better look at how it works because I've honestly never seen how these work before. Is there one on this side? Okay, so the button combination in the description mentions that you turn the dampeners off, and then when you activate them, it'll pull in different directions. I'm guessing it's enabling and disabling these merge blocks. My question that I don't quite understand is why setting merge blocks to attach to each other would cause it to move. That's the only thing I don't quite get so far. I'm also trying to figure out, is the captain's quarters the bridge or not? Because I don't really see another access... oh, I didn't go down here, though. Maybe it's down on the lower level, but I think that's just the hangar. There's a door over here. That goes to engineering. Oh, that might give us a better idea of what we're looking at. Okay, so we do have some hydrogen tanks. That, I believe in the description, was said to avoid planetary issues in terms of get it off the ground, and then you could use the Clang drive system. Okay. This is a better view. So, it looks like we have a rotor back here, which connects to a regular block, and then a rotor off of this one, which connects to... yeah, okay. Well, I think that would cause it. That's a half block. See, I'm thinking that this is set up where it's like rotor displacement, that this is going to cause a collision when the merge blocks snap into place, that the two rotors are going to basically be unable to resolve the collision, and so it pushes the blocks away, but because the block is connected, it's going to kick the whole ship away, but going to repeat because it's still connected. So that would be my assumption. If you guys know more about how a Clang drive works, feel free to correct me if I am incorrect, or confirm my theory. But I believe that's probably how it's working. Now, I believe in the description it actually mentions in the hangar to use the red combat Clang and jump controls, docking, mining, landing, and dumping controls. Okay, so this is actually the main flight seat, so that's interesting. It doesn't have technically like a standard bridge per se. Battle stations, timer block forward, off, and backward. So 2 and 4 are your forward and reverse. 3 disengages the drive. Jump drive controls, hydrogen thrusters, stand down. Okay, so let's go ahead and give the propulsion a whirl. So the dampeners are off, so if we hit 2, it does accelerate really fast. I'm not gonna lie. And then if you turn that off, it decelerates really slowly. I mean, really quickly. So that's actually pretty cool. Now I'm curious how it would work. Oop, did I have it? Oh, I see. It goes in different directions. So to stop it, you've got to actually hit like 0 and then. Not sure I like that part of it. It would be difficult to actually get a full stop. But anyway, so if we turn on forward, if I turn, how does this work? So it doesn't seem to be coasting. That's what I was afraid of. But it seems to be holding pretty good. So we turn that. Yeah, I don't like how... I'm not a fan of how it cycles from one direction to the other. Like once it hits 0, it goes back the other way. Because it makes it kind of difficult to completely disengage it. But if you were looking for some kind of like rocket type propulsion where it's a single direction to get you out of the atmosphere and it was a really heavy ship or something like that, it would probably work pretty well. So with that, we're going to wrap this one up and let's move on to the last one. Okay, and last but not least, we interrupt this Space Engineers Inspiration episode to bring you an episode from Corrales. I mean, nope, still Inspiration episode, I suppose. So, this is actually a really cool build that I was pretty excited about when I saw the thumbnail for it. This is the Villa, I'm gonna say Pirata. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. It could go a few different ways. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So, but this is a really cool build to me. I don't know why I'm stuck. That was weird. A little bit of lag. It's a pretty intensive build, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of mods. And it's a pretty big world download file, so you don't have to worry about what kind of mods and getting the right ones, but there are quite a few, so it might take quite a bit to download and load. The only other thing that causes a lot of FPS issues, I mean, it's not terrible, I'm just getting little hiccups here and there. Plus I'm recording as well, that without that added thing, it probably would be fine. For me anyway.
Low.
I guess this is not set up for creative mode. I might have to use spectator camera. But anyway, the whole thing is built out of small grid blocks, which is part of why you get some of the FPS hit that you do. But it's really, really cool build. I love it. I think the small block grid kind of gives you the advantage in a way, because... you know, you can do more fine details and things. Plus, there are a lot of different, we can see the SNCNC mod is in here for different little, like a lot of these little pergola type things. But yeah, so overall, really, really good use of all the different block types. And I love this. Like, it's Space Engineers. Who thought we'd have a garden area? This is really cool. And this looks like... Man, these SNCNC blocks, they're so useful because they're so small. And then you've got a damaged air vent, it looks like, or possibly it's either a damaged air vent or a vent with a damaged thruster underneath of it. I'm not sure how they got the flaming effect there. It's one or the other. But yeah, I mean, this legitimately looks... ridiculous. It's really cool, and this is what I was kind of talking about in, I think, an episode or 2 ago, where I had mentioned that the building type stuff, as opposed to spaceships necessarily, are always interesting to me because it's like you spend so much time with spaceships that it's amazing what the game can actually do if you know what you're doing. which this is a good example of knowing what you're doing, because honestly, even with all these mods and stuff and all the various tiny little blocks, I don't know that I could do all this. How did they get this glow? That's the one thing I want to know right now. How is this happening? Because this is a really cool effect. I love that. How does one do the glowy ceiling effect? What do we got here? Oh, what did I do? Okay, that turned those lights on. Alright. I imagine there's one... Well, those might just be square. But where did... Ah! Hold on. Hold on. You clever, clever people, you.
Fuel critical.
Oh, that's right. I don't have a jetpack. I'm also not sure how they changed the highlight color to be like an orange. That's really cool. That might be a mod. See, that's the only thing with mods, you can never really be sure. Now this, the structure here is all ES and CNC stuff, but this is still using the same like air vent. Now, I don't know when this was built, unless it was just to get a different effect, because I was going to say there's wood planks, but you could do the same thing with the wooden texture, but they may have wanted a specific look or color or something like that. But overall, honestly, if your system can run it, I highly recommend at least walking through this build at least once or twice, because like I was saying before, it's kind of one of those that just because you have the blocks doesn't mean you can build like this without practice and an eye for it kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, anybody can download the mods and stuff, but if you're looking to improve your building game, I would recommend looking through this build, because there's so many little techniques here. Like just these kinds of things and the architecture and stuff. It's one of those where actually those I'm frozen again. Give me a minute. I'm just in awe of the build. No. What do we got here? Oh, that's just a corner piece. I was gonna say that looks like it looks like lights. I was thinking they would light up, but apparently not. So we've got a balcony out here too, although these doors are driving me nuts, I'm not gonna lie. I can never tell when they're closed and when they're not. But yeah, overall we got a gym and everything. Where are these from? This must be a mod. I'm guessing that's a mod. I don't remember them adding that. I haven't fully explored everything in the DLC yet, but I don't think they added that. This roof thing, this ceiling light thing though is, yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite things so far. So we got the regular beds. What's this wall thing here? Is it just I guess it's an alcove for like the TV or something. Is this a TV? Oh, it's a storage unit. Okay. So it's essentially a closet, but I'm gonna go with it's a secret vault thing, is what I'm gonna go with, because it sounds cooler. And we've got another balcony here with a great view. Look at that view. That's so cool. So yeah, I mean, there's some things like, obviously, these chairs, tables, beds, you know, some of that stuff, sure. You know, that's just a mod block. You can just plunk it down and you're done. But the rest, some of this stuff though, like, I love this. This is really, really cool. It reminds me a lot of what a lot of people do in Minecraft. Only that's normal for Minecraft, but you don't see it as often in Space Engineers. You see more ships, but again, you don't see as many ships in Minecraft because they can't usually go anywhere without some heavily modded stuff. Anyways, could run around here for a while, so I think that's going to do it for this episode. I think we've kind of seen all the different areas, so I highly encourage you that, again, if your PC can handle it, I definitely encourage you to check this one out at least. There's a lot of different cool things. I know there was an armory or something that in the description it said you could get the code off of a data pad. I didn't see anything. So I'm just going to wrap it up here. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.